Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Planet Film Network. I am one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
And I'm your other host, TJ Cornwell. And tonight, we're going to be talking about Loki Season 2. We're going to be talking, Season 2, Episode 2. We're talking about a new restructure, I guess, of the Marvel TV shows on Disney Plus, as well as some Taylor Swift box office, because the Eras Tour came out this past weekend.
Absolutely.
I think that's it for right now. Obviously, we're going to start with what we've been watching. So I don't know who wants to go first. You want me to go first? You want to go first?
Do you have a lot?
I don't have a lot.
Okay. I'll go and then we'll toss you in the middle because I do have a lot.
Okay.
So you asked me, and we talked a little bit last week on this subject, but you asked me before we went live today, did I get the library card?
Yes.
Brother. I got the library card. So let me just pull up. So first of all, some TV that I've been watching. As I said last week, I re-upped on my Paramount Plus with Showtime. What is Letterboxd? Thank you. Couldn't remember the app for movie tracking. What are your thoughts on this Letterboxd acquisition by this Canadian company that they're adding television and stuff? Did you hear about this?
No, I did not.
Yeah, Letterboxd got bought for like $60 million.
Wow.
Yeah. And they're adding TV and stories. And...
I mean, I get it. I mean, I don't know. I get it, I guess. That'll be interesting to see. I don't know. It's been growing. I mean, they have like their kind of own media like segment. They have I think they have like a podcast. You know, they have people
and
that
I think
doing the
red carpets now for
and stuff like
COVID,
that. So
basically.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't really. I guess it's not really surprising.
It's kind of like A24 which is like people are like, why are they looking to be bought?
Right, and you still like, kind of see that too with like they have like for example like they have a Moon Knight on there. They have these like Chernobyl. They have these short series.
They put like limited series on there.
Yeah, so
like, a title.
That'll be interesting. I'll be interested to see how the app changes.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is obviously it's wishful. I was telling my one friend, I was like, I'm glad that they got bought by just like some random Canadian company. Obviously, it's like a big Canadian company, but a company that I'm not familiar with, rather than getting bought by like Amazon or something, like, and then getting gutted like they did with IMDb and box office.
60 million's pretty,
Yeah, don't quote me on that. I think it was like 58.4 million, like it was in that ballpark. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know when they like started. Do you know off the top of your head when it?
I guess a very long time.
Yeah.
Like I guess they started, I think maybe 2011 area.
Oh wow, okay.
Because I found I forget if it was Christian Harloff or if it was Roth Cornett, but I think it might have been Roth Cornett. What's it called? I think it might have been Roth Cornett. I found some of her reviews on Letterboxd on the app from 2014, and I was like, "Whoa, that is old." But yeah, there you go.
Company called Tiny.
Yeah,
never heard of them, but interesting.
They promised little change.
Good for them, I guess.
Is the number in there?
50 million.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So good for them though.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And like I said, it's good that they got bought, so good for them. And it's even better that it's not a huge mega media conglomerate that's gonna lose its mind. But yeah, anyway, so back to what I've been watching. So just some general TV stuff. I've started with my roommate Brianna. I've started Invincible. So I had her watch. We watched the Adam Eve special together when it came out a little while ago, and she had never seen anything from Invincible. So that was the first thing she saw, and then I was like, since since season 2 is like right around the corner, I was just kind of feeling it. I mean, it's been like it's like Loki. It's been like 2.5 years since the first season. So we're watching that right now. We're about 4 episodes through. And then, as I said, I got the Paramount Plus with Showtime, so I checked out the first episode of Your Honor with Bryan Cranston. Like the really good show that he's been on now for like I think 4 years.
Yeah.
With the giant beard that he's always had. It was really good, very very good. It kind of gives me like the Mayor of Kingstown with Jeremy Renner, like Tulsa King, kind of that kind of vibe. But also very different than those because it's not as like action, oriented. It's more like drama oriented, but it was very good for a pilot. And then I've been going back on and still listening to the Star Trek podcast, which, we can talk about in a second if you'd like. And then I also went back and I decided to pick up where I had left off with Star Trek Discovery, which was like 4 years ago at this point, because their final season is coming out next month. And so I've been binging some of that. And then I think that's been pretty much it on the TV side, I think. And then I have just been playing a ton of Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales. I actually paused. I'm up to, spoiler alert, I'm up to the final boss Tinkerer battle in Miles Morales. I played that one through all over again because it's much shorter. But Spider-Man PS4 I've played up through like probably halfway. Right up to about where Miles is introduced. So I've been playing a ton of those, but I also have been watching a bunch of movies because I have a week off of work right now that I'm not going anywhere. So we talked about a couple of this stuff last week. I watched Fellowship of the Ring. Just decided to throw it on. Watched it in 2 sittings. Very, very good movie.
Boring.
Yeah, exactly. I finally watched Saw X. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved
really?
it. I loved it. Quick words on Saw X. Anybody out there that's complaining that's like, there's not enough, gore and traps and whatever.
I find that hard to believe.
It's all focused on, John Kramer and stuff. Good. That's what
exactly.
I want. That's what the people want.
You,
like, it's like a John Kramer. It's like a Jigsaw simulator. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like a life simulator of just going with John Kramer to get coffee, going with him to this is actually in the movie. Like the first 35 to 40 minutes is literally just going around with John Kramer doing stuff and figuring out where he's at in life and stuff. And I loved it. I think this might be Tobin Bell's best performance in a Saw movie.
Wow.
There are some like emotional levels that he goes to towards the end of the movie. And for a guy, up there with like Harrison, I mean, he was like 79 when they shot this movie.
Right.
I think he's giving it his all. He's getting slight spoiler alerts. He's getting like covered in blood and stuff, and he's like they're like really covering Tobin Bell in blood, and he's just like giving it his all. Especially considering this movie really focuses, again, like a lot of the Saw movies do, but this one really focuses in on his cancer and his struggle with it and stuff. Again, that's nothing new to the Saw movies, but it really dives into the cancer stuff in a big way, and he has to deal with like emotional levels of that. And I just think that it was very, very good.
Where are you putting it on the rankings?
I actually did update my rankings, and I put it at number 3.
Wow.
So I go Saw 1, Saw 3, then Saw X.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. That's what I would go.
So you think they learned from the mistake that was Spiral?
Oh, easily.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, and I also think they learned from what I don't even think that Spiral was a mistake of a movie. Like, I get that Chris Rock, like, is passionate about the Saw franchise, I guess. Like, good for him. And, he decided to get everything going for that. I think that was, like, an okay movie, but it wasn't a Saw movie.
Right.
Like, that's I think, the main takeaway. Whereas I think Jigsaw, the 2017 one, that one was like, what does a Saw movie look like in a modern horror movie? This one is like, what does an old school Saw movie look like released today? Like, this one does not try to be like, how Jigsaw was like, the aspect ratio was a little thinner. They shot it a little bit better. This one throws all that out, and it's back to like grungy basements and like one room location and stuff. And that's why, and you have box office pulled up, but this movie, Saw X, is already at $43 million on a $15 million budget.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's like all the Saw movies are crazy profitable, crazy good. I think it's set to... Is this mine or yours?
No, I'm trying to remember what my top 3 was.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
My top 3 was Saw 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
In that order.
Yeah. See, I slide it right in. I always just prefer 3, just because I think 3's like, that's the one with the couple where it's kind of non-linear, where you're following the husband kind of from the back forward, and then you kind of meet in the middle, and that's the one where they they try to do the brain surgery on John Kramer in the movie. So I always just like 3 just because I feel like it was like tighter, but 2 is my number 4. Like I think easily Saw X fits right in with those 3 of the movie. Whichever order you put them in, I think can be debated. But
now, did you know it actually comes out? I think it comes out on digital like this week. Or
I saw that.
Which is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, but. I mean, but also it's like. I get it. I mean, you see that with Barbie, and I feel like maybe, not to give these studios benefit of the doubt. Oh man, this guy saw that movie and made it his whole life. You know, not to you know, thank the studios or whatever, but people had that same concern with Barbie. I did too. That they were like, why are you putting it on digital? And it's like, I think that they put it out. I think they put Barbie out like right at the right time, like where the box office was dying out. Maybe it's the same thing with this. I mean, they're gonna make $55 million on Saw X in the theaters,
right?
And then also it's gonna hit while the iron's hot, because you don't want to put Saw X out on digital after Halloween. You know what I mean? You want people to get that bump, you know, really get it out there. But I thought it was really, really good. Next up. Rewatch Cheaper by the Dozen, because why not? Very good movie. Okay. The Library.
Yeah.
So I have been getting a lot of movies from the library. Okay. I've been getting a lot of movies from the library in the 4 days that I've had since they sent me the new library card. So the first movie that I got that I did not plan on getting to watch was the Blu-ray for John Wick Chapter 4.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I got that, watched that. Man, that movie looks good. That movie, like the sound, everything. I obviously haven't seen it since it came out, but I just thought it was really, really good. Again, all the visual stuff, it's a crazy looking movie. Watched it on the living room TV, turned all the lights off. The colors, just like when the whole Osaka scene is just like when he's standing in front of the red building and it's just like holds on him, and like everything is so good. And Hiroyuki Sanada as Koji in that movie like is so great. Donnie Yen, everything is amazing. Bill Skarsgård, it holds up like crazy. I think it's still, for me, it has only reconfirmed that it is the number one for me. Okay, next up, as you can see right here, because CJ's got it pulled up, I got Sympathy for the Devil. So these two, I just went up to the Kenmore Library, which is the closest to my house. I don't know if I should have said that, but it's the closest to my house. Interestingly, like, they have 1 million DVDs, like I think all of them do. Kenmore only had like 2 shelves worth of Blu-rays. Now, I don't know if that's just because, like, they're out of a lot or what.
Only 2 shelves?
Yeah, like 2 shelves. I mean, like, a shelf and a shelf.
Wow.
Like, that was it.
Interesting.
But then there was a little cart, like a put-back cart, I think. And John Wick and Sympathy for the Devil were right next to each other on that. And I was like, oh, my God. I was like, everybody was saying that, like, this movie was, like, good, and it's Joel Kinnaman, and who I love now, and Nick Cage. And so I got it. First of all, as you can tell by the poster, look-wise, it made a very good double feature with John Wick Chapter 4, because it's very, like, red and blue neon, like, super, like, purple, crazy colors and stuff. But it's also just, like, a really good kind of, like, thriller, like, kind of a mystery, kind of just, like, the movie, you're just kind of dropped in, and then it unfolds for you kind of thing. Over almost kind of real time. I give it 3.5 stars. I think it was really, really good. But I wish that it was like if it had like a little bit better dialogue in it, I feel like it could have been really good. But I still liked it. Then another movie that I got out was Joyride. And I had not seen that since it came out, which was not that long ago. But I loved it when it first came out, and my roommate had not seen it, so we watched it last night, and she loved it so much that we watched it again today.
Wow. And
I was I'll tell you this, a little spoiler for a couple months from now, watching it last night, I already was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be. I was like, there's a chance this is gonna be on my top 10.
Oh wow, okay.
And I was saying that when I watched it last night, and then I rewatched it again today. Very, very good. But then I did bring the poll list here.
Oh my god.
So I have Joyride, which I did watch. Now this is another one that I started to watch, which is Cocaine Bear.
Okay, yeah.
I got about 15 minutes into this. Not for me.
Not for you.
No. I think less said about that.
Wow.
For me, at least. Listen.
You're in the minority on
Liz
that,
Banks
too.
is she's 0 for 3.
For you.
In my opinion.
What's the third? Charlie's Angels, that, and...
Is there a third?
I don't know. I said 0 for 3.
Oh,
so.
shit. I thought there was
Maybe
3.
just 0 for 2.
Maybe just 0 for 2. Oh, no. I think she directed one of the Pitch Perfects.
Oh,
that was probably okay. So, whatever.
Yeah.
But not for me so far. Okay. I did see X. I did not see Pearl. I got both of these out.
Yep.
And as you can see by the stickers there, another library that is closer to me, that I will not say the name of, or that not that's closer to me, but very close to me. I went there last night. They had like 400 Blu-rays. I was like compared to my main
we
one.
have the one that I go to is like a double-sided, like bigger than that, probably wider than this.
Yeah.
Like maybe like from the end of it to like the end of here,
Yeah,
and there's probably 4 of them. No, there's probably 4 of them,
Oh,
and they're
okay,
double-sided.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of Blu-rays.
I might have to check that one out. Yeah. But easily this one had. I mean.
But way more DVDs.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's like that ratio is never going to change. But like, I was so shocked that the one that I had so little, and then I went to this one, and I was like, oh my god!
Right.
Like I could not. Like it was crazy. And then I also got First Reformed.
Yep.
Very good. I want to rewatch that one. And then I got.
He said I wanted to rewatch it. That's
a
rare one. You didn't hear people saying they want to rewatch First Reformed very often.
And then another one that I got, Star Wars Episode 9: The Rise of Skywalker.
Why?
I took it upon myself. I think this vacation I'm gonna watch all 9.
They're on Disney Plus, right?
I know that, but this is the only one that I don't have on Blu-ray, and I'm in kind of a Blu-ray mood.
Yeah.
So
I think it does come down to like
gonna look great.
I think it comes down to like do I really want to stream it where it's gonna be maybe or do I just want to
like all I can think of is like with this movie is like getting to the point where like they're in the desert and the TIE fighter's coming. Right. It's just that shot where she puts out the lightsaber. It's just like this movie. Say what you want for the story or whatever. This is maybe the best looking Star Wars movie, like period. So yeah, that's what I have for now. I have no idea what the cap is on how many you can get out.
I don't know. I think the max I've done at a time is like 5.
Okay, yeah. I checked all 6 of these out last night, so
yeah,
we'll see. But I'm already ready to take back 2 of them, so it's like
the renewal, right? It's like they were for 3 weeks basically.
I actually so last night I went to my local one, wanting to go in and get other ones because I also have reserved the Red Shoes and Beau is Afraid. I had those transferred to my local one to pick up. So I went to pick them up last night. Every day of the week my library closes at 9 except for Mondays where they close at 6, which I did not know, and I showed up at 6:30. That's why I ended up going to the other library, but I did the drop box for Sympathy for the Devil and John Wick. So I dropped them off, then went to the other library to get these, and because they didn't know I dropped it off, obviously, they auto-renewed the other 2, even though I had already dropped them off. So yeah, it's very interesting, but it's crazy. If you have a local library system, which I'm pretty sure
maybe every single person does.
Every single person, at least in this country, does. They just like give you movies for free.
It just occurred to me too, like you were talking top 10, like this would be so much easier for like trying to catch up with those.
No, because that's exactly what I said watching when I turned on Cocaine Bear.
Yeah,
I was like, this is gonna be so much easier to track down stuff because they get most new stuff.
Oh yeah,
like there's I think there's 35 Blu-rays in our local system of Beau is Afraid. 35. Yeah. Like that's crazy.
The only issue I've had right now is just looking. There's some like foreign movies that I wanted to watch that they don't have. It seems like, which is kind of not that surprising, but that's like the only issue I've had. Are you all set?
I'm all set. Okay. Yeah, that was a lot, but yeah.
Okay, so I also checked out 4 things that I only watched one of them so far. Danielle's actually out of town next week, so it's just me and Nova. So right now, what I have to watch is Old Boy, which I thought we were gonna get it. I thought you were gonna get it specifically here. Didn't get it, so that sucked. I was hoping to watch it for the first time in 4K, or well, I guess it wouldn't be a 4K projection, but at least in the theater. So I got that. I didn't get a chance to watch Parallax View, and I had to return it. So then I took out Manchurian Candidate because they're in that same kind of political type spectrum that I was thinking. So I got that. I got The Insider, which I had become very interested in because I watched that 60 Minutes clip of the guy who blew the whistle on the cigarette companies about the whole tobacco companies.
Mark Felt?
No, not Mark Felt. Why can't I remember his name?
Who's Mark Felt?
I don't know who that is. And then I have to look at my watch list. The other one I grabbed, it was another animated movie. I think it was Perfect Blue. Have you ever seen that?
No, I almost did though because a couple of our friends went and saw it. Had a re-release last month.
Did?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I grabbed that one too.
Yeah.
Yes, Perfect Blue. I have watched one of them. I did watch The Insider.
How was it?
Great movie. A little long, maybe a little slow at some points. Another Michael Mann movie, by the way, if you didn't know.
Right.
60 Minutes, yeah. So Al Pacino plays like the producer. Russell Crowe plays the whistleblower. He played, I forget his name. Jeffrey Wigand, that's what it is. And then Christopher Plummer plays a Mike Wallace. Very good, by the way.
He plays Mike Wallace?
Yeah, he's very good in
it.
Is
it senior? Or
no, senior, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So very good. Really enjoyed it. There's some like kind of weird slow-mo shots in there somewhere. Michael Gambon, yeah. He's in it for maybe 5 minutes, maybe. Yeah. But he plays a villain.
Love a good Philip Baker Hall.
Philip Baker Hall.
He's the old guy. He's in whatever.
I don't remember who he played.
I can't name he's just like he just passed away I think in the past year, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I remember him. Yep. He was really good in it. Nice. So everybody really good.
And you got this at the library. Right?
Yes. Nice. A little slow at some points. Yes. But I was captivated the entire time. Mm-hmm. And I think if you have maybe a little background knowledge, maybe it helps, I guess.
Yeah.
Not that they don't explain it to you or anything, but I'm sure like a ton of people, because this is a big story. Because at first it wasn't going to air.
Yeah.
They were going to cut it, and then they did air it, and
And what year does this take place?
This takes place in I want to say it was a few years before it was made, so I want to say like 95.
Okay.
But yeah, really good. Another Michael Mann movie. So I watched that. Danielle and I watched, and I guess we'll just talk about it real quick. We watched the first Final Destination last night. Sean and I, for our Halloween episode, will be ranking the 5 Final Destination movies.
Yes.
With maybe a guest. We haven't decided that yet.
Potentially, yes.
I'll just say real quick, I don't know how I'm going to feel about these movies right off the bat. I'll tell you that right now. It was okay. I don't know. It was fine. It was
from
fine.
Like a movie quality level, or from like a, I don't know, or from like a what the movies are standpoint.
Well, it's funny because like I didn't know anything going into this. What they are, I don't know. And from a movie quality standpoint, I don't think they're that good. Mm-hmm. And what they are, I'd say they're fine. It's an interesting idea.
Yeah. I mean, the first one definitely, I would say, does the least with the concept.
So that's the thing though, but like my thing with it was like they would, so the concept is fine and all that stuff, and I get it, but they also have these kind of weird subplots that they're just kind of thrown out there, and then they don't do anything with them. I'm not gonna. We'll talk about it when we rank them, but it's just very odd. So watch that, and then almost done with Heat 2. I got 40 pages left on this freaking book. Okay, and then once I'm done with Heat 2, we're moving on to the last Thrawn book. Okay, so hopefully I can knock that one out.
Oh, there you go. Wait,
the one that
Ascendancy?
No. The one with Palpatine on the cover, whichever one.
Oh, okay, yeah. Treason.
Yeah, Treason, and then the Oppenheimer book that I still have that I haven't read yet. American Prometheus. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Heat 2 again. Quick review. I'm not done with it. I hope, and this is the next movie Michael Mann's making apparently. Mm-hmm. Adam Driver, young Robert De Niro in the movie. I hope. I pray to God that they can make Val Kilmer's character interesting. In the book, movie? It's like you spend so much time with him in the book, and to me, it's the least interesting part. Mm. Give me more Hannah. Give me more Al Pacino. That's what I'm here for.
I am like, my brain feels like it's splitting right now because I just realized that my friend Dorian at work is also reading Heat 2. Yeah. And he also said the exact same thing.
I Googled. I was Googling.
Because I know you said that last week too, and I was like, am I having like a false memory? But I think
Googling to see if like people were like
complaining about this.
Yeah, and like I saw like a few things where people like Chris is like, I'm like the least interested in Chris the character. Yeah. It's like I'm least interested in his story.
You got to get on the Heat 2 subreddit.
Because it's just even like you've seen Heat, like, right? Mm-hmm. And like, okay, you know, like he is the wife and the son, and you know they kind of have their issues, and at the end, obviously, he has to leave them, and then he goes on this whole side adventure, and you know they come back. It's just I don't know. It's not interesting, and he's in Paraguay, I think it's a whole thing. It's where it's like, just give me back to LA with Al Pacino, okay? That's where I want to be. That's
it's very interesting. Maybe it's like, the only thing I can think is like, maybe it's setting the groundwork for the movie is that it's like he felt, because I know we talked about too that it's like basically it's like story by Michael Mann, but then like there's a co-writer on the book, right? Yeah. So maybe it was just like he was like, man, it'd be too daunting to try and make De Niro and Pacino's characters the main characters again in this. Mm-hmm. So maybe he's like focusing more on Val Kilmer, so it's kind of an easier role to cast. You know what I mean? Yeah. That like maybe he'll get the focus.
I mean, they're not in it. Yeah. Like even like Robert De Niro, his character's in it as well. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm almost done with that. And I'll be interested to see how the movie turns out whenever it gets made, if that actually does happen. So I think that's it for all we've been watching. Obviously, and I watched Loki and Welcome to Wrexham, all that stuff. Haven't hopped on the Gen V train yet.
Man,
I know. I gotta get there.
I gotta say, they had another absolute banger of an episode with episode 5. I thought episode 4 was. I was like, wow, they really blew it out of the park. Episode 5 is even better.
Oh, did you?
So good.
Well, I guess you didn't watch it, but you did. Are you gonna check out that Disney 100-year?
I was actually meaning to ask you that. Did you watch that?
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't watch it, but I love the movie Saving Mr. Banks. They got me when Mickey goes up to the I saw the clip. Mickey walks up to the picture of Walt, and the little musical sting from Feed the Birds from Mary Poppins and Saving Mr. Banks comes in, and he goes, "Thank you." he goes, "I'll look after them all for you." Oh my god! And I was like, "Oh man, that terrible man is dead." Just like, no, but that did work. It did hit me where I was just like, "Oh man, that's like sad."
Is it like a? Is it? I think sorry,
it's
real
like
quick.
25 minutes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know how long it was.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to some box office here.
Yeah.
And we got the biggest thing with Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour coming out this past weekend, which is only, again, I didn't, maybe I did know this and I just forgot, but Taylor Swift, only a weekend thing.
No, I don't think first of all, for those who don't know, I am in the distribution business. I would say. No, but I'm a manager in a movie theater, and we are getting the information like very like it's not handled very well.
Right.
Like because this is not done with a big studio distribution. This is like her company and AMC Theaters are distributing it, and like that's it. So like,
well, yeah, no shit. It's because the competitors distributing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, like we didn't even know that, and then it was supposed to only be Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and then literally Wednesday night of this past week, they emailed us and said, "Oh, guess what? You're doing Thursday shows." So it was like with 1 day notice, we had to add an entire night of shows on Thursday, which nobody showed up to because you can't add a day last minute when everyone's pre-bought for the weekend. Mm-hmm. Like nobody's gonna come on that Thursday, and nobody did. Then 3,000 people came the following 2 days, which was really really great. And the price of this vacation was that I had to work every day of Taylor Swift. But it was fine. I will say Sunday night, before I was closing, it was the night before my vacation, and I was standing there waiting to turn off the last projector. I caught the last like 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. That woman is like insane. Like I don't know how she does what she does. Mm-hmm. Like she does that show like 4 times a week.
Yeah,
and then like every week.
Yeah, I mean, 4 times would probably make sense because you figure she's probably at some big cities like
and 2 does nights. Like 2 or 3 shows and then moves on. Yeah, like it's just insane. And then I think this concert, I know it was filmed in LA at SoFi Stadium, but I think it was like this concert was like stitched together from like just 2 performances. Mm-hmm. And it's like that's crazy that she is that good consistently, that like it's literally just she just like nailed it in like a day basically. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just like her like stage presence, and like there was people like dancing in the theaters and stuff, and like there was so much of that this weekend. Like, and honestly, I gotta say, it was annoying, but like they were pretty well behaved. Like we didn't have any issues of like people getting like crazy out of control. Right. The only thing that happened was like when we sold out of all the buckets and stuff, people were like, "Oh, well, you've handled this horribly. Did you know you're only supposed to be selling this to Taylor Swift people? I think you've been selling it to people."
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really true?
Yeah, you have to have a ticket for that
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. And they're like, I think you guys have just been selling them to anyone. And it's like, no, we just had, 2,100 people come in and buy the combo. Right. Yeah, not really. But it's like also, they only send these theaters like 300 combos. Oh, yeah. It's not like they send the theaters, like we got this big, long response on like our survey online that was just like going like, I don't think you guys did this right because you sold out on the first day. How does that make sense? And it's like, maybe because we did 2,000 people all for Taylor Swift. Like, you don't think they have $20 to buy a freaking popcorn bucket and a cup? Like, right. But anyways,
yeah. So top 5 for the past weekend, we got Taylor Swift coming in at 92 mil for total gross. Mm-hmm. Then we have Exorcist Believer, 44 million total. Paw Patrol for 49 million total. Saw X, 41 million, and then The Creator at 32 million. So what kind of other than Taylor Swift, what kind of stands out to you? Anything?
Honestly, to me, I think the 2 biggest things, I know we already talked a little bit about Saw. Mm-hmm. 41, it's probably going to end like we talked about earlier to 50-55 million probably when it wraps up. Clear profit for Lionsgate. I mean, it's before John Wick, this was like Lionsgate's only big franchise, or its main big franchise. And yeah, then you see even the international numbers, it's at 67 million. Mm-hmm. So it's like this movie's making a good amount of money for them, and that's good. But to me, what really stands out there is a couple things do stand out, but a big one is Paw Patrol. Actually, if you go back to Paw Patrol for a second. Yeah. If you can open a new tab, I want to see, because it's only $49 million domestically. Okay, wow. That makes more sense. Yeah. So, like I was just saying, what stood out to me was that Paw Patrol was only at $49 million domestically. And again, this is full gross. This isn't just the numbers for this weekend. I thought that was extremely low, but then TJ just opened up to the worldwide, and it's picked up 76 million internationally. So it's doing all right, but still $126 million for a Paw Patrol movie. Can you scroll down and see? I think there will be a link to the first movie, if you can see that. Versus Paw Patrol the movie. How much did that make? Yeah, so see Paw Patrol. Here, scroll down. Paw Patrol the movie. Oh, all right, okay. You know what? I guess it wasn't that big of a hit. I just feel like Paw Patrol, like...
They're pretty much on par.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just mean, I feel like Paw Patrol's, like, huge, isn't it? Or not so much?
I mean, it's pretty big, I guess, yeah.
I feel like if you came out with, like, a Bluey movie now, though,
a Bluey movie?
Like, yeah, that would be crazy. But, yeah, I would say probably Paw Patrol, and then, Exorcist is having a pretty good hold, even though, it's at, like, $50 million, so...
I know people said it's...
And then 86 worldwide.
It's not the greatest, correct?
Yeah, people have said this was a real stinker. And again, comparing it to Saw, they're both almost at, Saw's at 70, about 70 million. Exorcist is at 86 million. Difference, Saw cost less than $20 million. Exorcist costs like $50 million. So that's a huge difference right there. And then I think, obviously, the last thing you got to talk about in the top 5 is...
The Critter.
As low as the budget was, $86 million is way too much for a movie like this. I mean, you're seeing it's at $80 million right now. So, no marketing cost. And again, granted, not that the marketing was huge on this movie, but they did do a decent amount of marketing. They had those people at the sports games with, like, the heads and stuff.
Yep.
That's got to cost money. You know what I mean? That's got to cost something. So, I don't know. This movie, you would have to be in the ballpark of making like $150, $160 million to truly call it a financial success. I do not think that's even remotely possible. It really sucks, too,
because, they're going to look at this and be like...
Well, we're never going to make a movie like that again.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any money.
Yeah.
And, it's not the greatest movie in the world, but it's definitely... I think we both liked the world that Gareth Evans, right? I always get him mixed up with Gareth Edwards, right?
Yeah, Evans? Gareth Evans and Gareth Edwards are
that he created.
Evans is the Raid. Edwards is Rogue One.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And but just some of the, I don't know, just some of the story beats and stuff didn't quite work. I think for a lot of people.
And again, we talked about in our review. I think you take 25, 30 minutes out of there, shave it off, shorter movie, more shows per day. I don't know, but it's just like, it was almost there. But
yeah,
I mean, at a certain point, you have to go, are we listening to what the audience is telling us? You know what I mean? And I think that's very important.
Woof.
Yeah, honestly, then if you want to expand to the top 10 real quick, Dumb Money, easily one of the most like ruinous financial disasters, no pun intended, for the financial disaster movie. But I mean, $14 million. Woof. That is. I mean,
bad. Nobody asked for this. Nobody asked for this GameStop. And I've heard people actually say they do like it. Like it's like a Big Short light, basically. Yeah. But nobody asked for the GameStop movie from 3 years ago about them betting all this money and shorting the GameStop stock.
And also, it's like. I don't know. I think it's that thing of like when I said to one of my friends at work, I compared it to, do you remember there was that news story that said Nick Cage doing Joe Exotic's show at Peacock or whatever it was. And then Nick Cage came out and said, actually, we're not doing that anymore. The moment's kind of passed.
Yeah. You think?
I think the moment I just think people didn't care enough about this. Right. I mean, you're pulling it up $30 million. This is a movie that, to me at least, from everything that I've seen, this is a movie to me that was marketed a lot. I saw that trailer everywhere. And then it had a festival rollout and then a slow rollout to a wide release on a $30 million budget. I mean, it's got to make like 60, 65 million. The amount of celebrity cast that's in this movie, what are their deals? and to only be at 14 million, I mean, that is just like, and make no mistake, it hit its widest release peak 2 weeks ago. It's been losing theaters, so I mean, it is rough looking for whatever it says on there from hit director Craig Gillespie. But yeah, I mean, I think dumb money.
I think last one I just want to see real quick where we're at with Barbie. I'm just kind of interested.
Quick little check-in.
$1.4 billion. Love it. Love to see it. And then that'll probably go up with the release of the Blu-ray 4K.
Oh yeah, however, I don't know how long, because I know the numbers has that on there. I don't know how long it takes for them to get that information on there, but yeah, once it does that and it does the full combined thing, it's gonna be. I mean, this is gonna be a smash hit on VOD, physical release. You know, I think people are gonna want to own this one. See what Oppie's at real quick.
Man, so close, to Bill.
A couple of re-releases, it'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry, Oppenheimer's at 941 million. So I mean, crazy that those two movies together are like $2.6 billion. So Barbenheimer together is almost enough to beat Endgame. Almost. And by almost, I mean only $350 million short. So, yeah.
All right, so do we want to do Loki or do we want to talk about this Marvel TV show?
Well, we can
reshuffle.
We can talk a little bit about. Is this a real tweet?
I saw that. Yeah, the other day.
Is that like sarcasm?
I don't know if that's real or not.
There you go, Kamala for Wakanda. Let's talk a little bit about this Marvel stuff, and I got a little bit of I want to get your thoughts on this while we were live.
Okay.
This news finally broke. Twitter will begin charging new users $1 a year to access features. Get ready, but what are these features, you might ask? Browsing, tweeting, retweeting, and replying.
That's not a feature.
That's not a feature.
That's the
thing.
app.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's like
new users. Interesting.
At this point, you're just. I mean, obviously, he's just being an asshole troll with this whole thing.
Yeah.
But at this point, you're really just being an asshole when you're like, "We're gonna charge you $1 a year."
$1.
Like, what are you talking about? Like.
And that's all. That's for only for new users.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
TJ's going to see it soon. I genuinely.
Oh yeah.
Oh, by the way.
What?
No passes.
No passes?
Not even employee passes.
What the hell?
Yeah, not even employee passes.
What the hell, Taylor?
Yeah. Oh, buddy. They are stingy.
That's definitely an AMC thing.
Yeah, they are stingy. Like, it's crazy.
What is it, $20 a pop, too?
$19.89 for the tickets. $19.89 for the combo. And then, yeah.
It's bad enough the tickets on Ticketmaster are like $400. Now you're gouging me for $20 tickets on the to see it, and then $20 on the plus. It's not even including. That's a great picture. That's not even including. Did you guys do those bands too, or is that only names? Okay,
we did. Which I can't even process where we used to work. Being allowed to have the down. Did the employees make them? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay, because at our place, we have the downtime where we had our employees make them, but I can't imagine where we used to work, and more specifically, the man who runs where we used to work, allowing employees to sit there and make bracelets. So I'm interested in that. But I did see a couple of them; they were cool. But I have a couple. I have one that says Regal Unlimited, and I have one that somebody made a nice black one that says. Midnights, that's the newest album, right? So that was pretty cool. I have those too, but
so real quick, reading this off THR from Boris Kitt, Daredevil hits reset button as Marvel overhauls its TV business. And the quick
that's a great piece of art.
That's a really cool piece of art. Below that says launched during the pandemic with a playbook to shoot 150 million plus seasons with no pilots. The Disney unit is undergoing growing pains and seeing the logic of traditional TV culture. Then real quick, the first kind of paragraph says, it did take long to see the problem after Marvel Studios' Daredevil Born Again paused production in mid-June during the writer's strike. Fewer than half the series' 18 episodes had been shot, but it was enough for Marvel executives, including Chief Kevin Feige, to review the footage and come away with a clear-eyed assessment. The show wasn't working.
Man.
So when you first heard about this, what was your reaction to this?
I mean, I texted you. I just went, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't believe that. I mean, I think big picture wise, I totally get that a change needs to happen. Because it's like, you need to ask yourself, are you doing this or are you not doing like are you in TV for the long haul or are you not in TV for the long haul? Because it's like all these shows have just felt, and they felt while watching it, like just running without looking, you know what I mean? Or leaping without looking, you know, just running faster than the ground can keep up type of stuff. Like, and that's what it feels like when you watch these. I would say, you know, like we talked about last week, it was last week, right, that we pulled up the Marvel Disney Plus shows, I think. Yeah. Like, what's the one show that has had the highest numbers, that has had the most fan appreciation, and more importantly, is the only one out of the 12 of them that has gotten a season 2? Loki. And that's the one that feels the most like a TV show. You know what I mean? That's the one that feels the most like an episodic every week. What are Loki and Mobius going to get up to? And yeah, you see right there, Loki easily number 1 with 5.2 billion. And that's just with the first season. So the first season of Loki did 5.2 billion. Can't even imagine what the next 6 are going to do. So it could easily double WandaVision's numbers.
Real quick,
yeah.
I just wanted to continue on.
Yeah.
There's another paragraph in here. Reads, with Daredevil's new direction, Marvel hopes to right the ship on a project with sky-high expectations. The show is Marvel's first to feature a hero who already had a successful series on Netflix, running 3 seasons, but sources say that Corman and Ord crafted a legal procedural that did not resemble the Netflix version, known for its action and violence. Cox didn't even show up in costume until the 4th episode. Marvel, after greenlighting the concept, found itself needing to rethink the original intention of the show. And then
and you heard about the Foggy and Karen stuff too?
I did not. What was that?
So obviously it was a big story when it started filming that they weren't going to be
right? They weren't. Yeah.
And then one of the best things about it, about whatever the version of the show is, which I would assume is going to carry over, is that John Bernthal was apparently going to be in it, so that's great. But Foggy Nelson and Karen Page were nowhere to be seen, and apparently the idea was that, which I don't know how this makes sense with She-Hulk, and again, I think it's just kind of a going before you stop and think about what you've done. Apparently episode 1, Matt had not been Daredevil for a year.
Oh wow! Okay.
After failing to save Foggy from some sort of an attack, so Foggy was going to be dead.
Oh.
And then somebody reposted that, or just posted a tweet about that story and said, after failing to save Foggy and Karen Page. And then the original scooper who did the story originally, not this story, but just the one specifically about Foggy, retweeted that tweet and said, no, at no point did I ever say that Karen Page was a part of this, and that's intentional. She was never even mentioned in any of the drafts, in any of the treatments. Karen Page was never even mentioned as a character, which is like crazy to me, considering, she's the 3rd most important person, arguably maybe even the 2nd most important person of the Netflix show. But yeah, so apparently that was just another thing, was that his 2 main, co-leads were either not even addressed in this show or killed off screen.
Right.
And in a way that doesn't even match up with what he was doing in She-Hulk. He's so happy and light and carefree. And again, I get that matches the tone of She-Hulk, but like, you can have him be more dour. I'm not saying he has to be light and cheery, but like, if you're saying now in this show that he hasn't been Daredevil for a year, well, how does that even make sense with She-Hulk?
It's also too, just reading this, like, it makes me realize that all those people, when they announced this, everybody's like, oh, but it's not going to be like the Netflix series. Yeah. And, for me, I'm sure you and a bunch of other people were like, no, like, I'm sure, like, they wouldn't change it. And then this article is like, no, they were changing it. Yeah. And it's like, what? Why? Why would you do that? Like, why would you mess with something that, works so well? Obviously, when did Daredevil originally come out? How many years ago was that?
2013.
2013.
Yeah.
So obviously it was 10 years ago that it originally came out.
That blows my mind.
But to kind of take what worked and then kind of reinvent it and not have him in the suit until the 4th episode and that stuff and make it a procedural. That just I don't know. That makes like no sense.
You know what I didn't even think about until you just said it like that? You said they weren't even going to have him in the suit until the 4th episode. And I went, yeah, but isn't that, I was like, that's kind of how like movie stories go. And then because it would be like, not, maybe he doesn't put on the suit until the beginning of the 2nd act or the end of the 1st act. And then I remembered, it's not a movie.
Yeah,
it's an 18-episode television show. Yeah. So it's like, you can't structure it like imagine how well The Boys would have done if you didn't see your first superhero until episode 4.
Yeah.
There's 45 superheroes in the first 10 minutes of The Boys. Not really, but like, you gotta give people and we've said this on the show before with our reviews. I've been saying it about Gen V. To me, I just think that Eric Kripke, from all of his years on Supernatural and every other show that he's worked on, I think he really brings that quintessential TV element, the kind of storytelling. And again, I know I've been listening to this Enterprise Incident Star Trek show, just kind of appreciating Star Trek, but also just like kind of what goes into a TV show, you know what I mean? And how it's so different than movies is like The Boys has that beginning, middle, and end in every episode. In every episode, The Boys has a satisfying beginning, middle, and end. Invincible, I'm rewatching that right now, same way. It's got that, like, every episode is a satisfying little morsel. You don't have to wait until episode 3 for something interesting to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think when you're treating this as an 18-episode, 9-hour movie, and you go, well, yeah, he doesn't have to get the suit until the 2nd hour because we got all this time left. And it's like, no, you got to make every episode great. Same with, like, most TV shows that are great. They all nail that, and the Marvel shows
just
don't.
Like looking at this too, like, it talks about
and the
them,
pilot thing.
Yeah, well, them looking at it and be like, well, it's not really working. How many of the shows that have come out already could you apply that to? Where they were like, they saw it and were like, it's just, and they obviously don't have something that's stopping them from putting it out, obviously. Yeah. But like, did they look at Secret Invasion and go, nah, no, not really what we're looking for, but I guess we're just going to stick with it.
The worst part about Secret Invasion is that they did do that.
Yeah.
And they reshot it, and it was still bad. Yeah, if not worse. That's, to me, the biggest thing here is we're going to shoot the whole thing.
Yeah, that's wild.
We're going to shoot no pilot, and then we're going to shoot the whole thing, and then go, all right, guys, what did we shoot? What are you talking about? You're going to spend $200 million
I do
and
wonder,
then go, what did we shoot?
And again, that kind of comes down back to like, and I don't know if you want to touch on this too. This is a Netflix thing that I think is really stupid that they're doing, but whatever. And everybody's talking about now how streaming isn't as lucrative as maybe they thought it was going to be. But I don't know where they thought that the money was going to come from. You're getting subscriptions.
I think they just thought it was going to show up.
But that's it.
Yeah.
So like, and people are paying only once a month. There's only so many people in the world to subscribe to your product. And it's not like we're paying any more for anything new. Obviously they did, like Disney Plus did the Black Widow thing with what was it, $30 I think it was?
Yeah.
And, I'm sure some people do that, but they're not doing it now.
That was showing, great profit, but the problem was, who wasn't showing great profit for Scarlett Johansson. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. She got that money.
That's fair, yeah.
But that was, and it was that one, it was Mulan, and there was a third that did Premiere Access that I forget, but the two big ones were Mulan and Black Widow. And they made like a really decent amount of money off of that. The problem was, like you said, though, nobody's going to do that now because, it's not COVID. It's like everybody's back to work, and it's, people are just on such, and this is just the whole world right now is falling apart. We're trying to bring you a little bit of levity on Tuesday nights here, but out there, the world can be a scary place right now, and I just think that a lot of people don't have the time, money, or energy for all of this entertainment that was previously what?
Did you see this?
No, I didn't see this.
Well, finish your thought, and then we'll
Well, that was the end of my thought.
It's
just there's so much going on. It's not just about, okay, we all kind of took this year off. Not everybody, obviously. Thank you to everybody that worked through it and everything. But a lot of people were out of commission or out of work in one way or another, and now everybody's back. Everybody's playing catch up. On top of that, the politics and the things going on in the world right now are like, a modern high, I will say. Obviously it's been higher in the past, but like it is at a modern 2023 high right now with just the amount of like, oh my God, not wanting to deal with it all. And you would go, well, isn't that the time that people want to escape? Don't they want escapism? Yeah, they do. And guess what people are doing out there with families? Because I know, because my sister has, I almost said my sister has nephews. My sister has little kids and stuff. Yeah. And it's like, they're buying a movie that they want, and they're adding it to their digital library, or they're watching the ad-free supported stuff on YouTube, or they're watching Disney Plus. Kids are not watching. It's like, if you like Bluey, then all you need is Disney Plus.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not the amount of abundance of time to well, let's check out what Paramount has. Let's check out what this one has.
Yeah.
They're all just gonna start peeling away.
These ads are killing me.
Yeah, that's
holy
pretty
crap.
Crazy.
Go away.
That's a lot of ads. But yeah, I get that's just my overall point. I'm
going back to the last page.
That's just my overall point. It's it's a lot to ask people to spend this money at theaters to begin with, and it's even more to say, oh, and also we got rid of cable, which was $80 a month, but now your internet bill is $110, and all your streaming services added together are $150. Where's my $260 for your monthly entertainment package? And you go, $260? I was paying $80 for cable. What happened?
Yeah.
And like everyone is having that realization and that like crunch that everyone's feeling. I just think things are going to change because things have to change. Speaking of, what the hell is this?
So I saw this a few days ago, and I'm reading this off NPR from Chloe Veltman. It says Netflix plans to open brick and mortar locations. So it says, according to Bloomberg report, quoting Josh Simon, the company's vice president of consumer products, Netflix aims to open a network of stores offering retail, dining, and live entertainment that leverage its TV shows and movies. Netflix has not announced what it will be selling at the locations. It's unclear if DVDs or any type of physical media will be part of the inventory. The streamer plans to open the first two of these Netflix house locations in unannounced cities in the U.S. in 2025. It hopes to expand the concept to major cities around the world thereafter.
This ain't it, Ted.
I think this is stupid. And I actually did think... I thought it was going to be a pop-up of some sort, but they're saying like they're going to open up like stores, which I just think is... Listen.
If they were smart, they would put the infrastructure in as a pop-up to begin with. Like call it a launch, whatever you want.
Yeah.
But don't start building buildings for this, because this is going to collapse in on itself. I mean, it's like, and again, where is okay, so earlier this year, Streamer opened a pop-up restaurant in Los Angeles, featuring menu items created by chefs associated with Netflix cooking. What are we talking? What do they think that like people want? Oh my God, we gotta go to the new Netflix restaurant and get Giada's dumplings, and they're gonna be playing Stranger Things season 4, episode 3.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It makes absolutely no sense to me.
I don't know. I feel like Netflix operates as though they are a Disney in some way, where they have that sort of IP that people love, and but that's just not how it is. Disney's been around for 100 years.
You're not that guy.
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
Disney's been around for 100 years. They have that cachet with people. And
100 years today.
What?
100 years today.
100 years today.
Yeah.
And people are always going to be looking for Disney. Now, that's not to say Netflix can't become that at some point.
It goes back to the flying before you can walk.
But I feel like they're a very long way from getting to that. I don't think they have nearly the, what they have Stranger Things, okay. And I guess, you could say they have Squid Game, even though it's been one season. We'll see how a second season does. But other than that, it's like, what? I don't know. Like, what are we really, I'll tell you how you can save money. You can not give Rian Johnson and Daniel Craig all that money.
Yeah, literally.
To make those Knives Out movies. And then I get this is probably another way of they're just looking for ways to create revenue. I understand. Because it's everybody always says, like, Netflix just operates on a deficit, like, constantly. Which makes sense because they're always licensing content. They have their own, but obviously they have a huge licensed library. So I get that they're looking for something to like generate revenue, but like I don't know. It's like you said, it's like people aren't looking for this kind of stuff. They're not like, oh, let's go to the like you said the Netflix cooking show restaurant.
I don't think people care. Like now, if you said like we're gonna have Paul Hollywood there, I'm there. But I just mean like. He's the only person, and it's not even a Netflix show. Yeah. It's a syndicated show from the UK.
NPR TV critic Eric Deggans is less convinced about Netflix forays into the real world. Yes. He says, it sounds like Netflix is trying to do what Disney does, Deggans says. But Disney has been doing what Disney does for a very long time, and the amount of money Netflix would have to spend to actually compete with them doesn't make any sense to me. He said, I think it's some kind of weird experiment that they probably will not do very long.
This guy,
agreed.
Eric, what is it? Eric Deggans?
Yeah, very much agree.
Boom. I think he put it perfectly. I think, like you said, it's like when you all right, Disney. What is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
Disney World.
Yeah, like
Disneyland.
Families.
Yeah, family. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Netflix. What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Streaming.
And what? Or like about it.
Stranger Things.
Yeah, like something like you're naming. The overall business or one show or what I was going for is like, it kind of has that reputation of like a Netflix and chill. It's a more adult platform. It's not, you're not going to open up. And also there's just something about, and like you said, it's 100 years of Disney. I was just about to say, it's just something about the name Disney that just makes you feel whatever. Yeah,
because it's been 100 years.
Because it's been 100 years of an institution of making you feel that way. Netflix was, it was the DVD website for 15 years. Like, I don't know. I think, like he said, like the great Eric Deggans said, I don't think they're going to be doing it very long.
No.
They're just, they're just throwing everything at the wall and just seeing.
And again, this comes back to the whole, like, everybody got in the streaming. I feel like was it around 2020 that everybody was like, oh, we got to have a streamer. It
was like 2019.
2019.
Yeah. It was really, I think, the biggest boom was like in the same month, CBS All Access turned into Paramount Plus,
right.
Peacock launched,
Disney
and Quibi launched.
Oh, right.
Like all at the same time. Yeah, exactly.
And people were like, oh, man, this is going to be a new, new for-profit business and everything. And it's just, I don't know. It's like, they're like, okay, here's the subscribers. And again, they look at Netflix, but you look at Netflix, it's like, yeah, but like, again, they're licensing all this content. They're always operating at a deficit. It's like, where's the profit in that?
Yeah.
And Netflix, again, like we've said before, Netflix doesn't have the obviously Disney is Disney Plus, but Disney also has Disney World, Disneyland, these studios that make a lot of money, all this stuff, that is profitable. Meanwhile, Netflix is doing this streaming, and again, they don't have the content.
No.
Like, okay, Stranger Things is nice, don't get me wrong, but it also takes 3 years for a new season.
Mm-hmm. Also, by the way, it's about to end.
Right. Squid Game, that's nice, but then they spent all this money on these movies that suck. Like,
I know.
Like the Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans movie.
Like, Netflix, what the fuck is that movie even called? You said Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans? The Gray Man.
The Gray Man, yeah.
For a second, I thought you said Ryan Reynolds and Chris Evans, and then I went, did they do a movie together? But no, I was combining Ghosted and Gray Man and Six Underground. I was combining everything into my brain at once. But it's just, I don't know. I mean, I think these, like you said, it's these licensing deals that are lucrative for them, because they just posted today, Across the Spider-Verse is going on Netflix October 31st. Guess what? When Dan Murrell does streaming charts with Dan at the end of November, guess what the number one Netflix movie is going to be? Spider-Verse. Yeah, Spider-Verse, the movie that they didn't make. You know
how much? I mean? Yeah, how much does that cost?
Exactly, and it's like, God. Well, the good thing with the Sony thing is they have that ongoing deal where they get like the first look of it. You know, that's why it's like right now it's like they do however long on PVOD, then it's a year on Netflix, and then it goes to Disney Plus. But but like that's the thing is I think Sony is going to come out of all of this obviously the most unscathed, because it doesn't have a streaming service. You know what I mean? It had one. It had Crackle, and then Crackle went out of business 7 years ago, and it's like they went, okay, we're not going to do that again. Yeah. And they're the only ones that had their head on straight, I think. And
as annoying as it is too, because I'm sure there's so many Sony things you're like, oh, I wish I could watch that on like a streaming service. It's probably just better in the long run. Not obviously for us, but
but also it's like, I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of like, I've changed and manipulated time, but that's a meme. But I feel like with this library card thing, I'm like, I was just gonna be like, and I don't even care, because I'll just watch it when it comes to the library. I'll just get Spider-Verse when it comes to the library.
That's one thing I was thinking of, was like, should I just like cancel like some services?
Dude, honestly,
like what's the point?
Yeah.
You know?
I've got so much to watch. It's literally like infinite. It's crazy. I look any modern, I don't mean modern, any like brand new movie that I look up, it says like 8 copies. Yeah. 12 copies.
Sounds like we're talking like we just discovered fire or something, but I don't know.
I feel like we rediscovered. We rediscovered fire.
All right, and then I think that'll be enough of that. Let's talk some Loki to end out here.
Oh, you know what? If we're gonna end out with Loki, let's real quick. This Friday, Spider-Man 2 coming out.
Oh yeah.
Thoughts?
I'm excited. The reviews seem very good. Yeah. Actually better than very good.
I actually have
amazing. I'm looking forward to, you know, seeing the story progress. It's been a while. Spider-Man came out in 2018. Like all 10s, 9.5.
Yeah.
And then some 8s in there. So Metacritic rating of 91. That's very, very good. Obviously the first one came out in 2018. So long ago. Miles Morales came out 2020, I believe it was. And those are both awesome games too. And again,
remastered was 2020, I think.
Yeah, and then it's Insomniac's basically been knocking it out of the park. No surprise there.
And they threw in Rift Apart.
And they threw in Rift Apart, and then they announced Wolverine, obviously. Really excited for this game. It's been a long time coming. I'm glad it didn't like get delayed again or anything. I don't know what to expect, honestly.
I'm just excited to see the whole Venom story. Like I said, replaying both of them. Like I said, I fully replayed Miles, but I've been kind of just playing at Spider-Man, Peter Spider-Man. But just, man, I'm like, this guy Norman Osborn, I'm like, he's up to no good in that first game. Every time I see him, I'm just like, man. Obviously, they kind of like modeled him off of like a Trump type, like in that game, but like just the fact that he's gonna be back in this one and like a threat. Right. Are we gonna get Doc Ock? Just recently in the very last trailer, they revealed Sandman. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw him. He was in it. My one is such a little quibble.
Here we go.
That I'm gonna have with it.
A little quibby.
And I just haven't gotten over it. I just can't get over the likeness change.
Oh man, come on!
I can't do it. I don't know. It just, and I was only looking
been
at
10 years
because it's based off Yuri Lowenthal, right? Like the voice actor, the original one.
Yeah.
And I know it's
the original one is not based off.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, it's based on. I'm pretty sure this is it. I'm so sorry to this man. I think it's like David Buttkick is his name or something. Yeah. But.
Well,
yeah, but
him.
Anyway. The new one is more like a mix of the three and a little bit of Yuri Lowenthal.
Yeah, the original I was all the way in with, and I know it wasn't that long, but I just feel like I had gone on that journey with the character looking like that.
No,
and I think that I'm stuck there.
And I'm like, I've never had a problem with the change ever.
Yeah,
and I do kind of get annoyed at the people on the internet that go like, "This is ridiculous. We need to, whatever." I would just look up original Spy. It's something like that. I know it's gonna be terrible, but obviously I went on the emotional journey with the original Phase 2, but I don't know, it's just never bothered me. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just never ever bothered me. The new face, I don't know.
Let's see if I can find that. Didn't really pop up when I Googled that, so yeah, I don't know.
Look up Spider-Man PS4 original actor. Or original face.
Yeah, well, I know what it looks like.
Who was the original face model? John Bubneck. Okay. John Bubneck. Yeah, I was kind of close.
Go back to John. Sorry.
See, I'm totally fine with the new one. And honestly, now I feel like, history is written by the victors. Mm-hmm. And this guy's gone. He's crushed. He's out of there. Yeah. But honestly, seriously, though, like, when you go back, I mean, it's the new face. It's going to be the new face in every version of the original one going forward. Right. In Miles Morales, it's the new face. In this one, it's the new face. You know what I mean? It's like, at a certain point. But I totally get. That's the one valid reason to me, is like, that game is so emotional. Mm-hmm. I didn't get to this part of the game, but I sat down and I rewatched like the last 35 minutes of like the game movie. So like going from when like the Doc Ock, like, you knew, mm-hmm. all the way up to like, I want to see my nephew. And mm-hmm. I was like, man, this game is crazy. And like the choice that he has to make, like, man, you really feel like those games are honestly like beautiful, the amount of emotion that they put into those games. But anyways, anything else on Spider-Man?
That's it.
What's your one? All right, last thing. Who is Venom? Because this latest teaser, that obviously you've seen shots where it's Peter and Miles fighting Venom, so you know that there has to be someone other than Peter that will be Venom.
Has Norman ever been Venom?
He's been like a venomized like goblin.
Goblin?
Yeah. But I could see that twist happening because obviously everybody feels like it's gonna be Harry. At the end of the first game, you see Harry with the symbiote.
Maybe Harry's just Goblin.
I just feel like whatever it is, it's gonna be a little switcheroo. Something's going on. I have never thought about that before, but literal, just straight up Norman Osborn being Venom, that would be awesome. But I mean, you can introduce Eddie Brock. You could introduce Flash Thompson. You can go a lot of ways with Venom in this. But I'm super, super excited. My only hope is that it doesn't take 10 hours before you get to the Venom storyline. Like
I've heard like just the one review I watched. A lot of them were talking about like how they platinumed the game. It said it took them like, just to give you like a reference, took them like 30 hours.
Yeah, I mean, so they said it's about the first game, where it's like, essential story is like 16, 17 hours, and then like another 13 on top of that, So I'm very excited, but that'll be coming up. Sure, we'll talk about it next week. By then, we'll both have played it. But yeah, speaking of next week, speaking of last week, Season 2, Episode 2 of Loki, Breaking Bad, which the entirety of the Geek Buddies review, John Roca called Breaking Bad, which is not what the episode is called. But yeah, Breaking Bad, getting into X5 here. Some interesting stuff. We knew from the trailers that Zaniac was going to be in this. I kind of liked what they did with that. We took a little McDonald's break. We kind of moved on from the premiere. There clearly has been a passage of time from the last episode to this episode where things have been kind of reestablished. They're checking the timeline for X5 and for General Docs, and we end up finding out where both of them are. And then we get a little bit of action. We get Sylvie joining back up. Get some craziness going on at the TVA. What are your thoughts? And then it ends on a big emotional moment. I want you to lead up. Let me know if that emotional moment worked for you.
Yeah, so I liked this episode. I didn't love it. I think where I'm a tad kind of, I guess, and this kind of goes back to the title, is Loki too confusing? I don't want to say it's too confusing, but I'm a little messed up with where we were with General Docs, and I think it was Hunter D90. Or what's that? What was his actual
X5.
Name? X5.
Yeah. Brad Wolf.
Brad Wolf, right. That's who I'm talking about. Where, okay, so we get, we go into this other, I guess it's another dimension, right? Or what is that?
For what?
Or another time where Hunter Wolf is, whatever. He's a movie star.
No, so that's...
Maybe
I
this
think you just answered the title.
Okay.
I think you just answered the title.
Brad Wolf. Sorry, I don't know why I said
think
Hunter Wolf.
Yeah, I keep saying X5, Brad Wolf, whichever one. I'm sure the remainder of the season he's going to be known as Brad Wolf, so I should probably get used to saying that. But yeah, Brad Wolf, his whole thing was that he was in the MCU. That was in the sacred timeline.
Okay.
So I think this season they have been doing a better job of cleaning up what is the sacred timeline. I think that this season is just saying the sacred timeline is the MCU. Mm-hmm. Like the sacred timeline is the continuity that we've always been following, and everything else is a branch. And I do think that they set that up well in this episode where we got to talk about, the kind of the lengths that Loki goes to, kind of pulling out the villainous side of himself with the kind of like torture that he does with Brad, with that machine that like puts him in a box. That was very unsettling. And there's also like some kind of Loki doing a little frost giant action in one of the scenes to intimidate him as well. But I do like that they have at least seemingly started to clear up that, he says in that scene, I was living my life on the sacred timeline. And then he says Sylvie is living on a branch. Mm-hmm. So it's like she's living on one that is not the MCU. She's like, her McDonald's is in a different universe. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, so I think it just kind of caught me off guard where we're going after Brad Wolf, but I'm also like, I don't remember at the end of the first episode being like, oh, that guy, we got to go after that guy.
Well, I think
I feel like I was just kind of like, here you go, throw him in, like throw him in the deep end.
I think again that goes to there clearly has been time between these two episodes that we're just not gonna get.
Right.
And I think that's a choice. Yeah. That's a choice they made. But
and I think, the other thing with the whole General Docs thing where I felt like that seemed like at the end of the first episode where there was going to be like a subplot that lasted multiple episodes. Mm-hmm. And now it's just kind of over after the second episode. And how they get there is just kind of, it just didn't quite work for me where I'm like, okay, we got Sylvie, after the past 45 minutes of looking for her, we got her. We explained everything. She actually believes us now. So, we found her. We found General Docs. That was easy. Well, let's just, kick ass real quick. Boom, 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 boom. And, we arrested everybody. But, it's still, obviously, unfortunately, we pruned all these other branches. Mm-hmm. It just didn't, I don't know. It felt very kind of wonky to me. It didn't quite work.
So the emotion did not wallop you at
the end. Did you see that tweet I sent you?
I did see it, but
I don't know if that was a joke, but somebody tweeted
it said this is more emotional.
No, it was the same emotional impact as the end of Infinity War when everybody's getting, and I was like, what are you talking about? That I didn't feel, I don't want to say I didn't feel any emotion, but it didn't hit for me, if I'm being honest. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, but yeah, those are my kind of three little gripes, I guess, about the episode. I liked it. Obviously everything with Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston going back and forth with the pie and all that stuff, that was awesome. Their conversations are great. I think Tom Hiddleston and Sophie DiMartino as well were great. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just those things did not quite work for me.
Yeah, and I liked Mobius and Brad Wolf's kind of back and forth in the McDonald's. Like, the McDonald's thing did get a little, like, weird after a while.
Oh, really? I was fine with it.
I was more fine with it than I thought I did, but, like, when I sat there, and more specifically just Mobius's lines. But then again, also, I guess you're right. I guess it's not that weird because... Yeah, I guess it's not that weird because it's, like... That's kind of who Mobius is, though, is that ever since we met him, he's a guy who loves Earth stuff. Mm-hmm. Which is why one of the things I'm loving about this season so far is what's set up in this episode for Mobius is Loki goes from, like, don't you want to know what your life was down there?
Right.
To by the end of the episode, it's like, Mobius, he's like, Mobius, I'm a little, why don't you want to know? Like, that to me, that is the emotional, that's the emotional stuff that I was really grabbing onto, is I was like, it went from like, come on, don't you want to know if you were like a teacher or something, to then like, Mobius has that moment in this episode where he kind of snaps.
Yeah.
Where Brad Wolf calls him a little man, and he goes, "You're a little man." He loses it. I like that we are developing Mobius as more than just like, you know, Loki's companion. And again, I think this season has again continued the model of what everybody said about the first season, is this is the MCU's like Doctor Who, where it's like Loki is the doctor and Mobius is his companion, and we're going through all this wacky stuff. But this episode, I liked that we kind of dived into Mobius, and it's like, why did he snap at him? Like, why did that trigger him so much? And then why did he deny it? And then the pie calmed him down, and then he's like, I don't want to know what it was. And then he goes, because you think it might be worse? And he goes, what if it's better? And I was like, man, Owen Wilson is so, like, that moment with the key lime pie and everything, I was like, this is this show. I was like, I love this stuff so much. Love that stuff. But everything with Mobius and Loki just like sings in this show. Another thing I really liked about this episode was Eugene Cordero as Casey. I like that he's getting a bigger and bigger kind of role. He's getting a little more in. They kind of teamed him up with OB, and then he's like, you read my book? And he's like, I know every page of it. Like, I think like they're like perfect together. He's like, could you sign this for me? Yeah. And I like that OB is so, what's the word? He's like, OB is just like assuming that the TVA is going to die any second. Like, he's just like Hunter B-15 keeps going like, OB, focus. And he's like, oh, sorry. I just, you know, he's just assuming that the loom is going to explode. But then again, I don't think the emotion worked for me.
Okay, I was going to ask you, yeah.
I don't think... And the thing that really hit me was I was like, I get what they were going for with, like, Sylvie comes back to the TVA with them, and it's like, she comes back, and she's like, all right, maybe I'll give this a chance. And then the first thing she sees is them destroying all of these branches, and the branch that she just came from, it gets destroyed right behind her. You know what I mean? Like, that McDonald's is gone. It's wiped from existence. I liked the little 5-second scene with whatever his name was, the register guy. Yeah. That she had that nice kind of maternal moment where she was like, "Hey, is your mom coming to get you?"
Did she go back?
No, that world's gone. That world's destroyed.
I thought when she exits through the thing, I thought she goes back and is laying on the car.
No, yeah, no. That's earlier in the episode.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, that's like in the middle of the episode.
My bad. Okay.
Because then right at the end, they all come back through the portal.
Right. Okay.
And then the last shot is all the world's burning. Because then Sylvie comes through the portal. But yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot in this show. I do think there's
I just don't think in 2 episodes they did enough to get you to feel that. Again, it's kind of one of those like...
And again, it's like caring about multiverses burning away.
Yeah, where it's like, I have no connection. I have no connection to any of those worlds or anybody like living there. So it's like, why do I care?
That's why I say, like, to me, the one good thing that they did do is I did think, although it was like a 15-second scene, I liked that when she was like, hey, is your mom coming to pick you up?
Right.
Like, she was like genuinely caring about him because he's a real person.
Right.
Like, he's a real person on that branch. And he's dead.
Right.
And, like, for me, that kid, I understand that connection. And I'm like, man, that sucks. But I can't make the mental leap to then be like, yeah, but think about all 8 billion people on that Earth.
Yeah.
And then think about all the people on every timeline. And again, it's like at this point, it is kind of a heady thing because it's like you're not just saying that like each branch is a different Earth. Mm-hmm. Each branch is a different everything. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm supposed to be genuinely emotionally invested that 6 Googleplex trillion people just died. You know what I mean? It's like I can't even wrap I can't even fathom it. That's a great word. I can't even fathom what you're trying to get me to be emotional about. Right. You know what I mean? And if I can't even fathom the sheer scale of it, then like my brain's just gonna go, oh man, instead of like, oh wow, yeah. Like if you had said that like all these branches were just Earth or something like that, you know, then I could picture that and be like, man, all the different Earths are burning away and stuff. But it's different universes, and it's like the first season set up that like a different branch could just be a guy stepped on a leaf that time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like the numbers are so crazy to even think about. I think it's hard for any multiverse story to do that. Whereas a complete 180 flip of that is Spider-Verse. You know, you would go, oh my god, if they were like one of the Earths in Spider-Verse is just gonna die, which they did do with Jesus, I can't remember anything. Miguel O'Hara's Earth.
Yeah, I saw the did you see like the theory where it's like, what if his Earth was the one that was like one of them that was like pruned or whatever? Yeah.
I mean, that would be interesting. I mean, clearly they're all talking to each other, obviously, because the little multiverse thing that Miguel O'Hara brings up is literally just the sacred timeline from Loki when it does the little blue branches. Like, they made it look exactly like it does in Loki in Spider-Verse. So clearly they're talking. So maybe. But again, I think just going back to the episode as a whole, I liked the whole torture thing, the whole like Loki,
I really like that.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna be a villain because that's what you said. Like how many times have we seen that classic thing? But I think it was done well, and I liked the whole like it was kind of like a, you know, people always say about James Cameron, like, yeah, he does like straightforward stuff, but like he does it really well. Mm-hmm. Like in this episode, the whole like fake out of Mobius being like, you know, Loki locking the door and Mobius being like, no.
At first, I'll be honest. At first, I was like, I didn't know if that was a bit or not. I didn't know if
it was part of it or not. And then at the end, when he was like, see, when I tell you, a little bit of mischief goes a long way. Like I was like, oh, you salty dogs. I was just like, man, I love these two guys.
Yeah.
And so there's like that aspect where I'm like, the show I still really like and again, I think this was like a overwhelming episode that kind of missed the mark at the end. If you compared this episode to most of the other shows, I still think this is like a really good episode.
Oh yeah.
Like that's the thing that like it kind of felt like Ahsoka, like when we were like, oh, this one wasn't as good, but it's still a lot better than a lot of the other stuff. You know what I mean? I feel the same way about this episode. But yeah, well, overall, how did you feel about the whole like torturing and Loki kind of doing that ice giant thing where he got super, super big?
Yeah, I think it's
Loki. And also the opening. We didn't talk anything about the cold open with Loki using his magic and stuff.
Oh,
like
I thought
Loki
that was really
Unleashed.
Cool.
That was awesome.
I thought that was awesome. Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, I think it's interesting, like you said, the whole kind of, they wheel in this big thing that looks like it would be some, like, you know.
It looked like the Teletubbies.
Like that, or like what they're using to push around and clean the carpet or something like that.
Yeah, it did look like a carpet cleaner.
I thought that was all really cool, and I thought it was interesting just to see, like, Loki kind of, or I guess this version of Loki that we know now, as kind of like, he's done those bad things, obviously, right? So we pulled him like right from Avengers, like the first one, and obviously went through Loki season 1, and where Loki season 1, he's kind of grown and gone past that kind of evil side, where now he's like, obviously he's very concerned as, you know, Kang's coming and all that stuff, but he's still kind of got that like, don't push me,
yeah,
you know, or I'll go there. So that was really cool to see, and like you said in the beginning as well, him like chasing like chasing Brad Wolf through the street, and him having like the I guess I don't really know what it's called, like those duplicating himself basically, and Mobius like thinking he's talking to like Loki, but it's actually like the one to the left, I think it is, or whatever. All that stuff was really cool and really well done. But yeah, really nice, really kind of cool to see that he's still kind of got that like villain in him, I guess.
Yeah, and it's like I like too, just the first season, the whole kind of thing was that, and I like the slight dynamic change of. In the first season, it was Loki was there against his will.
Right.
Like, the whole season, not the whole season, but the most of the season, he was he was like, all right, I'm going to help you with this, and then I'm going to get my life back on the sacred timeline. You know what I mean? It was like that. Whereas this season is now, he is fully there of his own will. So it's like, and in the first season, they even put that collar on him that kept him from doing his magic.
Mm-hmm.
And now he can do his magic again openly and freely, and on Lamentus, right? In the first season on Lamentus, he obviously does that thing where he stops the building from falling, and he kind of taps into his magic in the last 2 episodes of the first season. But here it felt different. It felt like if none of the Kang stuff was going on, I could just watch the show be this, just Loki and Mobius hunting down variants, throughout time. Did you ever watch The Good Place?
No.
This show to me is really starting to feel a lot like The Good Place, like where it's like The Good Place is about.
I know the twist though.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
The Good Place is, let's call it heaven.
Yeah.
Let's say they're in the good place. And it's basically, in later seasons, they would look in on people at Earth. They could go down to Earth, and it would be like they couldn't interact, or sometimes they could interact. But it felt a lot like this, where it was like, oh, somebody got out of the neighborhood and somehow got back down to Earth. We got to go back down there and get them. The whole opening of this episode felt to me like I could see like Ted Danson walk in as Michael and be like, how'd you get down here, buddy? It felt to me like the TVA kind of feels like that, like The Good Place, like this higher, not heaven, but like this kind of afterlife place. And I just love that whole vibe. And then just the overall vibe of like the whole walls with the pies and stuff, like it all just, sure, the emotion didn't hit me, but like, again, this show I just keep coming back to, like, they nailed it. And again, going back to the story about the TV shows, this is what you want. It's like I can picture different distinct locations within the TVA in my brain. I can picture like Kamala Khan's living room. I can picture, certain places like the WandaVision house. But like, can you picture any place from Falcon and Winter Soldier? Can you picture anything from
the bank?
Bank.
Yeah, when they're sitting and trying to get the loan or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Vaguely.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the guy's desk. Okay.
Yeah, the guy's
but you know
desk.
what I mean? Like,
no, I know. Yeah,
I know. That's
exactly
my point, though, is that it's like, this is how you do a TV show. It's like you set something up, you follow it, you pay it off a little bit. The overarching thing, you pay it off a little bit in each episode. But Loki does the thing that The Boys does and that Gen V does, in that every episode is a satisfying beginning, middle, and end. And then the next week is a different one. But it always pushes the main storyline through. And I just think it's like, I really like it. But I
think last thing I'll ask you, and this is kind of going back to the whole General Docs thing, did you feel as though there was going to be kind of a bigger thing with her? Or did you?
I thought there was going to be. I kind of like that we just kind of got that out of the way. Because again, it's like, I'm interested in that, but I'd much rather get to Kang. I'd rather get to what. Not even that I'm like, I need to see Jonathan Majors like now in this. I just mean like, I'd rather focus on that and focus on the loom. Like I'd rather have the temporal loom and trying to save the TVA.
Right.
I would much rather dedicate screen time to that than being like, oh, but we gotta still find General Docs is out there. You know what I mean? It's like this character that we just got introduced to.
Yeah.
I do not think I would have enjoyed 6 episodes of yeah, we got to deal with Kang, but that General Docs, you know what I mean? And that's what I feel like some of these other Marvel shows kind of do with characters and storylines like that. So I was kind of happy to get that moved along, and I really like this Brad Wolf character. I like him in the role. I think it's Rafael Casal. I think he is really good in the show. I like his vibe, and I like his dynamic with Mobius and Loki.
I'm very interested to see where the whole Renslayer thing goes as well.
Yeah, we still have not seen her at all. So,
and apparently, I think the third episode is like the big Kang episode. I believe, like his first.
Oh, really?
I thought I saw. I could be wrong.
Probably
I thought I saw that.
Like the Victor Timely Ant-Man episode, probably.
Right. Anything else for that?
I don't think so.
All right. Stop recording. Anything else you want to talk about? Any stories you got in mind? Or are we good? Here.
I did have a couple of. What the hell? So Kingsman, some Kingsman news.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Kingsman. Oh, this is like actual like news. So like 3 days ago, Matthew Vaughn said, 100% my next movie. When the strike is over, Kingsman 3 that's it. Like, we're going for it. Like, because I know Taron Egerton had that statement a couple months back when the writers were on strike, but not yet the actors, saying, me, him, and Colin have basically met up multiple times and trying to, like, hash it out and everything. But yeah, so officially, Kingsman the Blue Blood, that's going to be the name of it. Kingsman the Blue Blood will be a sequel to the first, capping off the original trilogy, and will be Matthew Vaughn's next film, while Kingsman the Traitor King will be a sequel to The Kingsman.
Okay.
So both movies are currently in the works, and obviously if you've seen The Kingsman, you know that the villain of that piece will be Adolf Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Got to work on the mustache, I think, though.
Maybe.
Take off the sides.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're getting the Hitler Kingsman movie. I can't believe. What are your thoughts on this overall? That we're officially getting the third Eggsy movie.
Yep.
And then that they are continuing with the Kingsman continuity. And do you get Ralph Fiennes back? Do you go Ralph Fiennes? Who was the young guy at the end of that? Oh no, never mind. You saw that movie?
Yeah, I've
right?
seen it.
Yeah, I forgot that the.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts on officially Kingsman not stopping anytime soon?
I would say I'm pretty excited. I liked the Kingsman. I don't think I loved it. Yeah.
When did this come out?
It's not out yet.
Continue. No, I just mean these pictures.
Oh, I think today. So I'm kind of excited for some more, stuff like that. I'll be interested to see how they do with like a Hitler kind of villain.
That's just crazy
in the movie.
That they're really going for that.
Yeah. Because when I think,
that'd be the other guy you bring back, Daniel Bruhl.
Oh right.
Zemo. Yeah,
yes.
he was at the end of that. That's right.
Yeah, but why does it do that? But no, I'd say I'm interested. I'm not like can't wait for it, but I'd be interested to check it out. I'm looking for something else to like talk about and discussing film, any stories that they tweet out, but nothing like where I'm like, oh, we need to talk about that. But did you want to touch on the Avatar, the Last Airbender images?
Yeah, I guess so. Sure.
Yeah. So the images just came out of we got Zuko, we got Uncle Iroh, got Firelord Ozai. Yeah.
Daniel Day Kim. I love that.
Are you gonna check this out?
100%. I am a massive Last Airbender fan. Honestly, those pictures give me way more confidence. Like that. Yeah, that look. That did look great. They nailed the aesthetic. Yes,
I will agree with that.
Like absolutely nailed the aesthetic.
I have seen the show. I did really love the show. I'm not I wouldn't say I'm like jazzed at a live action. Yeah. Avatar.
Did you see the live action movie?
No.
Okay.
No, I did not.
Count yourself lucky.
I was gonna say, should I? Like, what? Okay, this is something where I was like, why are we doing this? you have any interest in a live action Gargoyles series?
I was never one that I never watched.
Neither did I.
Yeah, so I don't even know what it is.
It just seems like
just a show about gargoyles that come to life.
I think so. But when I saw it, I was like, is that really what we need to be making right now?
It's a James Wan. It's going to be a James Wan show.
Yeah, I'm going to, you can tell me when I'm wrong when it comes out. But this screams Willow to me. Like,
whoa.
What?
Go back.
What?
Click. Can you? Oh, sorry. I'll look it up myself. That's that show Upload with Robbie and Mel. I really liked that show. I watched the first 2 seasons. I thought it had been canceled. It looks like there's coming out with a new season.
It looks like it, yeah.
Boom. Sorry. I was like,
no, you're good.
I was like, is that the show I think it is?
This screams like a
Keith David.
Like this old whatever from a few years ago.
What do
We're
gonna
have? Remake it.
What do we have?
Yeah.
It feels like that.
Like, I would not be shocked if it comes out with one season. It comes out with one season, then it gets canceled.
And like, you're making it live. What do you even mean you're making it live action?
Yeah,
these look like creatures. Why are you even making it live action? It's gonna be like, I don't even know.
What is it?
They're gonna be like, Asa Butterfield has been cast as the human lead in the Gargoyles, and I'm gonna be like, what do I care? Like, this show looks awesome. Just watch the original one.
Clan of heroic creatures pledged to protect modern New York City as they did in Scotland 1,000 years earlier.
What?
Interesting. Lasted 70 episodes. 74 episodes.
Wow.
So you're not excited for the Gargoyle series?
I mean, not really, no. But whatever James Wan wants to. Did you see this? I guess the rumor is that San Andreas is going to be playable on Netflix.
Previous GTA game is reportedly planned to release on Netflix. And as many people have probably seen, I don't know if they're. I think it's already started. You're right. I can't even get in because I don't have access to the Wall Street Journal. But that they're bringing games to Netflix now. Mm-hmm. Again, just another way to try and make some money, which I understand, but I don't know how well that's gonna go. Okay.
Oh, is that a new criterion for Train Spotting?
Yes. Just real quick on the whole video games Netflix thing. If I could play a GTA game, why would I go play it on Netflix?
Yeah.
Like, why? It's probably on Game Pass on Xbox. It's probably in the Sony PlayStation Store. I'll probably just go there.
Exactly.
Especially if I have one of the
playing it on a console and not on a Roku.
Yeah, and I'm not playing on a server a million miles away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like one of those things where it's like, why?
The only cool thing that I bought into, and I was like, I'd like more of these, is the choose your own adventure thing. I thought that was an interesting concept. Like, yeah, I really liked Black Mirror Bandersnatch.
I watched Danielle do one a few weeks ago.
Did she do the Puss in Boots one?
No, I forgot who the actress was.
Oh, I actually know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I cannot remember.
I forget her name. She's from Austin Alley.
Yes,
I forget
exactly.
Her name.
And that was a whole choose your own adventure. And I heard that again. That was a big success. So I'm not saying I'm not saying they stopped doing them.
Yeah.
But I liked that. Mm-hmm. I thought that was interesting, and that was like a cool little hybrid. Yeah, I mean that looks great. That is. I mean, Daniel Day Kim looks crazy, and then Paul Sung Hyung Lee looks so good. I'm so happy for him that he's like a big guy now. Like he's getting big notable roles. What is his name? I always forget that actor, but he's great too. I love it. And I love that we're starting with the Fire Nation. I wonder if we're going to get, every
each season's going to be like a...
I would assume each season's going to be one book.
Right, that's what I was saying, yeah.
So I think you could go either way with it. You could go 4 seasons, or I think you could say, maybe if you want to split it and really get out of it. But, man, it looks good. Again, it's Netflix, though, so I'm like, I don't know. The pictures could look great, and then it could just be whatever. What's this?
I didn't realize they were making a adaptation of this on Netflix.
Oh.
It's one of these animes that's really popular that I have wanted to check out, but I haven't gotten to it.
Does it have 6,000 episodes?
No, I think it's got like 70, 112. You know, so not like a One Piece where it's like you said, it's got 1,000+ episodes. But I did not realize they were making that live action.
Well, I'll tell you, the first look looks great.
Yeah, I'd say it looks pretty good. Probably won't check it out, but that looks good.
And I guess last thing we can talk about, if you scroll down for a sec, the Miyazaki movie is finally, it's had its limited release in Japan and stuff, and then now it's gonna get its U.S. release with the U.S. voice cast. Christian Bale, a couple of familiar people to Miyazaki's previous U.S. adaptations, a couple of new people. Christian Bale obviously has done a couple with him. I think this is his 4th movie with Miyazaki. And then Dave Bautista, Gemma Chan, Willem Dafoe, Karen Fukuhara, Mark Hamill, Robert Pattinson, and Florence Pugh. That's an all-star cast right there. That is fantastic. And also good for Karen Fukuhara getting some work in the Boys down season. You know, finally getting some lines in somewhere else. But yeah, that was the last thing I wanted to touch on. I just think that's a great lineup for the U.S. voice cast. I shouldn't even say U.S., just the English language voice cast. I think particularly out of all of those names, I feel like Dave Bautista is like, I feel like Dave Bautista just looks like a Miyazaki character in real life. Like, you know what I mean? Like him in Knock at the Cabin, like he could just be, what people always fan cast him as Hugo Strange. I think that would be incredible.
Oh yeah.
But like, wouldn't Dave Bautista as Hugo Strange look like a Miyazaki character with the little glasses and the big like trench coat? Like he really would. So I'm very excited for this. And then it's wide U.S. release December 8th. So
wow.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Very excited. Very excited. I think that'll do it. Got a lot of stuff to watch this week. Luckily I have the time to do it. But yeah, we'll talk about some of the stuff that we've been watching next week. Again, might have a guest for our Halloween episode, but if you have them, they're all on HBO Max right now. So take a look at some of the Final Destination movies, and we are going to be talking about all 5 of them on our Halloween episode. Yeah, I think that's it. That'll do it for me. I've been one of your hosts, Sean Monk. Thank you again for guys so much for joining us. And for watching on the repeat. You know, we ended up getting, I think, like 50 views on the last one. So thank you guys so much for checking it out. I know it's hard out there. I know it's, you know, hard to get views, hard to keep up with content. So we appreciate you guys watching this. And if you do, you know, like, comment, subscribe. That'll do it for me. I've been one of your hosts.
I've been your other host, TJ Cornwell. Thank you for watching. Check out our social medias on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And we will see you next time.
Boom.